Hello everyone, welcome to MyrisCast, a place where a kid talks about politics and is wrong about everything. See, I'm trying out a slogan type thing. Today I want to talk to you about a sort of pseudo-centrism that's been prevalent in the YouTube community for a while, specifically the skeptic community and offshoots. What we see is a lot of these people making many anti-SJW or anti-left videos, but claim to be centrist, non-partisan, or even leftist sometimes.
Could you sort of explain where you would describe yourself on the political spectrum as well as some of your positions?
Sure. I mean, when I do a political compass test, I always and very consistently fall center-left in my policy preferences. And so I've always considered myself to be part of the left.
Criticizing your side is completely fine, of course, but only criticizing your side, if it's your side, leads to having a rightist fanbase, if you're leftist, obviously because people watch things that they agree with, mostly. These people are often further right than the average right is due to the radicalizing effect of YouTube, due to the YouTube algorithm throwing you down the rabbit hole. Look at this for more info, link in the description. So, the main question of today's video is, should we look at these people's actions to determine their political beliefs or their words? Well, on one side, the word side, many people might think that just criticizing SJWs doesn't make them a rightist, and this is true, because many people, even those clearly on the left, do criticize SJWs. Hell, some SJWs criticize SJWs. Another point is that many of these people rarely present qualities of actual people who are on the far alt-right, such as homophobia, misogyny, racism, etc. Of course, this doesn't include dog whistles and such, but many of these people might simply be repeating things that they've heard, unaware of the subtext, rather than actually dog whistling. Dog whistling is basically political messaging employing coded language that appears to mean one thing to the general population, but has an additional, different, or more specific resonance for a targeted subgroup. A popular example is the term states' rights, which came to be a way of allowing segregation. How? Basically, states' rights started to be fought for after equal rights were won for black people. States' rights are basically the ability for the states to decide the rights of individuals and set various laws rather than the national government. This doesn't entail that many states might repeal equal black rights. But of course, that isn't the goal, that's just the consequence of the goal. Of course, definitely, for sure.
This is sarcasm.
Another point is that, as many people have mentioned, anti-left arguments often sound quote-unquote better than anti-right arguments. This is because the far right often pushes a simpler worldview, and this means it'll be easier to convey and can probably be made more entertaining, meaning that the channels which are promoting this type of view will be made more popular. For example, the reason black people have high crime rate isn't due to complex socio-economic issues or things like higher poverty rate, but just because they are fundamentally more uncivilized. Of course.
Okay, sarcasm, everything is sarcasm here.
There are only two binary genders because that's what we grew up thinking, and obviously they're connected to sex because that's how it's always been. But to understand the leftist point of view, we have to get into the interplay between gender and society, the new research surrounding gender. On top of this, the right's memeing of the left creates a terrible strawman, which can easily be debunked, creating a strong video which seems more correct on the surface. After all, the left can't meme, right? However, this is changing. With the growth of channels like HBomberGuy and Sean, we're seeing that there's a growing YouTube audience for the left as well. What, in my opinion, has happened is a change in tactics. Previously, many leftist YouTube channels would debunk like a single video every week, and that's being generous. However, rightist channels often would produce daily content, since rightist rhetoric is much more easy to spread. However, as a result, the rightist content was often quite similar. Now what seems to be happening is that the leftist YouTube channels are debunking many videos at once and pointing out how they're all saying the same thing. This is effectively killing 2 or 10 birds with one stone. I'd like to talk about it more, but we're getting off track. On the other hand, actions do speak louder than words, and it's easy to lie, even if you're lying to yourself. It's often easy to fall into far-right beliefs without even realizing the racism or sexism underlying these beliefs, because of things like dog whistling and fake news outlets like Breitbart. Many people also hide under the term centrist to avoid having to defend the opposite belief, like a spectator criticizing the event without offering a better alternative. This is pretty cowardly, IMO. Another important thing to consider is this 4chan post from a while back. 4chan is well known as a den of the alt-right, at least poll. This post details how this person believes that they can spread the rhetoric of the alt-right through hiding one's power level and easing people into the rhetoric. This could be what many people are doing, not all of them of course, many might have just picked up on the rhetoric from others and are repeating it. What's scary is how well it seems to work, bringing the alt-right from a fringe extremist group to a major contender in the current political discourse. However, in the end, it doesn't really matter. The effect of these people's actions are the same, giving a platform or circle jerk to the far right, either by unintentionally spewing alt-right dog whistles or intentionally doing so. These skeptics' personal intentions aren't actually relevant, and they need to be aware of this effect, so that the ones who aren't actually alt-rightists should be making changes, and this will hopefully help in combating the alt-right and improve political discourse as a whole.